This is Traffic Jams here on CKUA. I'm Lisa Wilton here with you until 6 o'clock. Sean Thistle is a poet, author, and multidisciplinary artist based in Calgary. Their work has included sound installations, cabaret performances, radio productions, as well as inclusion in various anthologies, including Mic Check, an anthology of Canadian spoken word poetry. Sean is also the executive director of Calgary Queer Art Society and was recently named the city's new poet laureate. Sean is the 7th Calgary Poet Laureate since the program began in 2011 and joins such artists, writers, and performers as Chris Demeanor, Natalie Meisner, and Wakefield Brewster, who have spent 2-year terms as artistic ambassadors. I'm happy to welcome Sean Thistle to Traffic Jams this afternoon. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming into the studio today. It's great to see you. And first off, congratulations. You were named the Calgary Poet Laureate, and that must be very exciting.
It is very exciting. I was at a loss for words when I got the phone call, which, most poets claim we always have words for everything, but the truth is we don't.
Right. Did you apply for this position or? Yeah.
I was nominated
Right.
by a fellow Calgarian and was honored to receive a number of letters of support from folks as well. Yeah.
So what does a poet laureate, what does that entail?
I have the privilege of acting as an arts ambassador for the city of Calgary, so I get to share poetry at different events like Canada Day or Calgary Arts Development Report to Community. There's conferences coming through the city that I'll get to share some poetry with, and also get to invite folks at those conferences to share a little bit about why they're there and to transform their words into poetry. So to capture their story and share it back to them, which is a huge honor.
What are you hoping to bring to the role that maybe others haven't, or what do you want to accomplish with it?
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and the world has become really divisive. And there's a lot happening both within media and in political spheres where women's bodies are being politicized, queer bodies are being politicized. And the truth is we all just have a right to exist and to exist in a way where we can connect in community, feel loved, feel like we have something to contribute to the world. And so if I help inspire any version of that, then I have done something wonderful in my 2 years.
Excellent. You sound very passionate about what you do and what you just brought up. Do you feel that you have a lot of backing, that people have your back in this role?
I feel completely supported by the city and by Calgary Arts Development, the Calgary Public Library, the Calgary Foundation, who have created this incredible program, the Poet Laureate program here in Calgary. Poet laureates have been around for 2,500 years. So it's such an incredible legacy to be able to step into. And I hope that I represent well and I do the role proud. And I've been told without any uncertain terms that I am supported in the role. So I feel pretty good about it.
Before we go on to talk more about poetry and what it means to you, what does a poet laureate, a newly minted poet laureate, like to listen to?
Oh, I'm such a radio junkie. My partner loves CKUA. Let's be clear about that. Loves CKUA, but doesn't necessarily love radio in general. And I'm always driving them crazy by listening to all kinds of radio because I like to switch it up. I like all different kinds of music. I like hip hop. I like new country. I like a little bit of old country. I used to rock out when I was younger, and that makes me happy. So anything and everything is really what I listen to.
Great. What does poetry mean to you?
Poetry is like breathing to me. When I grew up as the only child of a single parent. I was a queer latchkey kid. I was a little bit awkward. And poetry was just a way for me to interpret the world around me. It was therapy, it was joy, it was where I found solace. And I find that so much of my poetry is actually not even necessarily for other people. It's for me. And then sometimes I find pieces that I will share and other people find themselves in the words, and then we all have an opportunity to feel less alone.
How do you get people into poetry?
Share it. Just share it everywhere. Poetry is all around us. It's in media, it's in movies, it's in music, it's in advertising, and it's really in the way that we look at the world, or at least it's in the way that I look at the world. I look at a tree and I see, the bronchia of lungs. That's like what's happening in the environment around us. Or tributaries, if you're driving through the mountains and you see sort of the lines and curves in the mountains that represent old river tributaries, those represent, I think, veins. There's so much of the world around us that is a metaphor for what's going on inside of our bodies and within life itself. I don't know where you can look and not find poetry.
And what are your first few official Poet Laureate events that we can see you at?
I have the privilege of sharing some work at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference coming up at the beginning of June. And so anybody who happens to be at that conference will see me there. In addition, I'm very proud to be participating in an event by Pride at Work called Pride in Art, and that's happening in the Bow Building on May 24th. And then I don't know what's coming up in June, but I'm sure there's a lot.
Well, you sound pretty busy.
I'm ready to be busy.
Great. Before you go, do you mind sharing a little bit of your poetry?
Sure. I'll share an excerpt from a poem called Eking Time. It's a poem about my journey, I think, from childhood to womanhood, and includes some moments in my life, and this is really just one of them. Child speaks while mother ekes out time to do laundry. Says, listen, mother, listen. Good women don't hiss like angry geese. So instead they kick and laugh in falling leaves, swing on wisps of weeping willow, wind in their hair, living room dance the Watusi, hustle and bump to the Beatles and Billy Joel. Soul sisters, before her time she soared into a West Coast skyline.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean. And thank you again for coming by and sharing your excitement about being the new Calgary Poet Laureate. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.